Good morning, Bronco family. How are you all doing today? Well, you look fabulous. You look fabulous. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is an exciting time of the year as we embark on our our halfway juncture in the academic year, and so I thought it very appropriate, the chancellor and I, for us to come before you to provide an update of the amazing momentum we have here at Fayetteville State University. And so before we get into some of the nuts and bolts of our discussion this morning with some of our amazing colleagues to present before you, I'd like to bring up our 12th Chancellor, Darrell T. Allison, to welcome you back to this spring semester. Chancellor Allison.
You mind if I take this?
Oh, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do I sit over this side, Provost? Where? Right here? All right. Well, there's a microphone in the seat here. We put that back. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, how you doing? How you doing, team? Yeah, happy New Year's 2023. I'm so happy to see. Now this is mid-year, so that we hadn't done this. Yeah, we haven't done this. We the newbies. We the newbies. But it's great to see you all. I'm hopeful that you all had a restful, good holiday season, and your families are well. I know we've still got little remnants of COVID and flu, which sometimes you don't know which one you have. But I'm glad to see you here. We even have folk up in the rafters. Good to see you all. But I'm really excited. I know it's mid-year. We've just, I believe, finished an extraordinary first leg of the run. Although we're in a theater-style seating facility, this is not a dog and pony show. So there's going to our leaders are going to be sharing with you all some good information. Also, data points, and matters that we really are doing and such where we're making you aware, but also that it creates an opportunity where you can lean in and engage and perhaps in some of our areas be part of the solution. We're making great strides, and I don't want to say a lot because you all will be hearing real soon. We're making some tremendous gains. There's tremendous opportunities that have availed themselves. And I just want you to know that it's not the chancellor, it's not the provost, it's not two or three, it's we. We are leaning in and coming together. We're not there yet. We know we've got much row to hoe still. For you farmers, country boy like myself, but we're going to get there, and our students will be better off for it. I promise you, we're going to start bringing old buildings down and new buildings coming up, and we're going to undergird some of our programs we have, new programs coming online, and you all should be excited about the information that you're gonna hear today. Now, I gotta tell you now, I came in a little bit of an edge now, because I walked in, I purposely didn't eat a biscuit, stopped by Bojangles or Chick-fil-A on my way in. I said, surely when I come in, I too would be able to have a pastry at least. Man, y'all cleaned us out. I brought my own coffee. I said, well, I guess I'm about to work on this. I'm going to be fasting for a few minutes here. Thanks to you all, but hopefully it tasted good. You have to let me know how it tasted. I will be here until 9:45, and I really want to be here to the end. And I really encourage you all and those online. How many we have virtually? I know we have a full house here. Any numbers, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Secretary Bussey? Do we have an idea of how many are online? 40 or so. Hey, 75. Hey, 75. But I'll be here at about 9:45. You need me to get going because we have a UNC system call and anything you need to know, you'll be made aware of that. We have a Board of Governors meeting next week where we're on the calendar for some important matters as well. You'll be hearing more about that. And so I'm really excited, not only faculty, staff, and so I just encourage you all to lean in, some insightful information, revelational information as well as we're shifting into, the paradigm shift in a few things here. But again, more than anything else, it's one of these things we want you to lean in and see how we can be a better can be a better FSU, and we can't do it without you. So highly honored. I'm gonna sit down and take it all in here. But again, Happy New Year. Let's make this mid-year our best year yet. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chancellor, and we appreciate that and appreciate your leadership as well. Now we'll have a couple of welcomes from our campus leaders in the Faculty Senate and the Staff Senate. So I would ask Mr. Dwayne Hodges, Chair of the Staff Senate, and Dr. Shahar Karkar to come forward to bring you greetings on behalf of our faculty and staff here at Fayetteville State University.
Good morning, Broncos.
Good morning.
It is a privilege to be up here today to bring greetings. I will keep my remarks short because I've seen how many slides are coming after this one here. I want to say thank you to Dwayne Hodges and Staff Senate for allowing me to come into their meetings. It's been a very fruitful experience. We've learning about each other's roles. I think it's been very helpful to sit in each other's meetings and learn about each other's, staff and faculty are in separate goals and what we have in common, and we have a lot more in common than we do differences. So my main priority as chair of the Faculty Senate is to increase communication so that we can do our jobs better, get better job satisfaction, and lastly, but most importantly, serve our students. And that is all for now.
For now. I'll keep it brief, although many of you know I'm a man of many words. Good morning, Bronco family. It is my honor and privilege to bring you greetings on behalf of the Staff Senate. So, greetings. As you can see by our slide, we have monthly meetings where we discuss issues that affect staff. We also have committees that address those issues to the extent that we can. Additionally, we host events that benefit staff either directly or indirectly, and of course, many of those events include faculty, students, and administrators. This semester we have on our schedule another theater production, and yes, we will be lowering the price. We listen. We'll also be hosting our Mr. and Ms. Staff fundraiser in support of the Staff Senate Education Grant. For those who don't know, the Education Grant is given by the Staff Senate to 2 staff members who are either pursuing higher education or some other form of training to help their job performance, and hopefully get a raise. Mr. and Ms. Staff, in addition to helping us raise money, get to represent FSU for a full year. This includes wearing a crown, smiling and waving during homecoming. So if you like smiling and waving, that might be for you. Just let us know if you're interested. And of course, we are the primary host for Staff Appreciation Week. Now, our activities are not just limited to FSU. We have 4 representatives, including myself, on the UNC State Staff Assembly. Many of the issues we have at FSU are shared around the state, and it's sometimes easier for change to happen from the top down than the bottom up. For example, early last year, many staff came to us and said they had fear of losing their jobs, that they had been working at FSU for their entire careers. So I submitted a proposal to Staff Assembly, the idea of creating staff tenure, similar to what the faculty have, and it's based on working at least 15 years. The other institutions jumped on the idea, and now we're putting it together to do some lobbying type stuff. So just to let you know that that is the type of thing that Staff Senate can do. It's not the only thing. For many of you who have been asking, I just make it here now, that we're also looking for around the state supervisor evaluations. That's been a big deal. So yes, I'm not trying to make any supervisors feel uncomfortable. I'm just letting you know. My supervisor gets top marks. I don't know about anybody else, so I'll just say that. Now, we may not get any of these things or get them in the form that we're looking for, but just to know that we have that opportunity and that we have a voice makes a difference. And so right now, we want to, if you just allow us, I know we're just the hors d'oeuvres for this main course that's coming up. One quick visual presentation.
What we were trying to do with this visual representation of our walk at FSU, it took Dwayne 10 steps to get to this point in the stage where he stopped. It took me 16 steps. We don't know how many steps it took for us to get back to the podium. All we know is that we made it here together because we adjusted to each other's pace. There's no right way to do what has made us successful as individuals. There's only the way that was most comfortable for us. Even walking back to the mic, while it took a little effort to get in stride with each other, and it may have been a little uncomfortable, we achieved our goal. Who sacrificed more, me or Dwayne? It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is we achieved our collective goal. The second most important thing is that if we ever have to do it again, we know we can do it. And actually, I kind of like walking with Dwayne. We all have our own pace that we walk to get. He wrote that line, guys, sorry. We all have our, sorry. I'm just kidding. We all have our own pace that we walk to get us to FSU, and we all come here for different reasons, but our reasons for being here at this time for this semester is the same, to move FSU forward, so let's get in step with each other.
Now, even in this darkened room, as I look over this beautiful group, I notice there are familiar faces that are missing, and while that makes me sad, I also notice some new faces as I walk down the aisle today. And new faces make me happy, especially when they're smiling. So when the lights come on, I expect y'all to smile. Hopefully, we'll share more than a few smiles this semester as it progresses. We're a diverse body, as you will find, in terms of faculty, staff, administrators, and students, pretty much anywhere in the state, and probably in the country. From GEDs to PhDs, and in the middle, some soon-to-bes. From young Zoomers in their early 20s to old boomers in their early 80s. From recent hires to soon-to-be retires. From mainlanders to islanders. And from former class clowns to current class acts. Some of us speak 6 languages, and others speak only 2. I say 2 because, in addition to English, I assume we all speak the language of love and respect. So we have a wealth of knowledge, skills, insights, and energies. Those qualities make FSU a richer place. Let's share the wealth among each other. Have an amazing semester, everyone, and let's share some Bronco pride.
Thank you, two amazing leaders. We really appreciate that. That was awesome. So at this time, I'm going to share a couple of things with regards to the academic space and just give you a few highlights what our pillars are here at Fayetteville State. Our pillars is to build a student success framework to meet university strategic metrics in order to graduate our students in a timely fashion in 4 or less years. Another one of our pillars is to develop and build academic programs to enhance our academic portfolio for our students to come here and thrive. But also, it also is one of our pillars is to diversify our student population in the various spaces of our military students, our adult learners, as well as our transfer students. This helps us build our portfolio even greater, but it also provides us an opportunity to move our reach even further to meet the goals of our 21st century scholars who come here at Fayetteville State to learn and grow. So I wanted to share with you a few amazing things that we've done this past fall and also share with you where we are trending in this spring semester. So what you'll see here on the first slide, and you've heard a lot about it, but I want all of you to stand. Everybody. This is the work of Fayetteville State University. This is the work. So I need a bigger applause. Absolutely. This is the work. This is the work. Thank you all so much. Receiving a 10-year reaffirmation with no findings is substantial. It is less than 2% of universities and colleges that go through their reaffirmation year that receives no findings. No findings, Bronco family. Yes. So this continuous quality improvement will continue, of course. We have a SACS liaison, Dr. Nicole Lucas, but this is all part of who we are and how we assess and understand how we do the work of this great institution. So thank you all for all you poured into the SACS reaffirmation process, all the committee chairs, and everyone who was involved with making this happen. It is not something that happens with one person. It is an entire campus to make this move. So thank you again. So where we're trending. So we're big on data, as you all know. We've talked about data. But what I wanted to share before you this morning is where we're trending as of yesterday. So you see 2021 and 2022 census data for the spring semesters. Our overall number is 5,000 right now, 951. Our populations that we spend a lot of time really unpacking and understanding those particular populations, our adult learners and our military. So what you see in 2023 is 1,889 military-affiliated students. And then for our adult learners, you see 2,932 for our adult learners. So census, just so you understand, is not until February 1st. The data you see for 2022 and 2021 is our census data. So we know we are trending exceedingly well. The deans, the chairs, the faculty, the Bronco One Stop are all intimately connected in ensuring that our students have what they need in order to persist. What I can tell you what's underneath these numbers is that our continuing students, we have a high percentage of continuing students who are returning. So that helps us look at the healthiness of our campus because it is far more expensive to retain a student than it is to recruit a student. And so what you're doing to ensure our students are here, they're still here, they're moving along the enrollment funnel to continue and graduate in a timely fashion. Thank you all for doing that, and we look forward to sharing our census data with you all after February 1st. On the next slide, I'd like to recognize some faculty who participated in a competitive process for $50,000 to really upstart their research agenda. And if they are here, I'd like them to stand. If their deans or their chairs are here, I want them to stand with them and be recognized. From the college, I want you to also look at the cool topics for a moment, right? The topics were so cool, like dancing around emerging data and analytics, right? Investigating the intention to use cryptocurrency in business transaction, health equity undergraduate research study, the role of phytochemicals, I think I said that right, hedgehog signaling in inflammatory breast cancer, and then genome-wide association study for Coots bugs resistance in edamame. How cool is that? How cool is that? How cool is that? How cool is that? So would the faculty please stand? They're on the right side. And in the middle? Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Congratulations again. This is also a piece of the puzzle that we ensure that our faculty are integrated in their research, but also building that research to help and bring in students in the research area. So this is exciting. This is very exciting. I know there will be more research opportunities to come, and I look forward to working with all of you in moving the needle and expanding your research agenda here at Fayetteville State, because, you know, it's about what we're doing to connect our research to the community, but also identifying those fundamental questions that concern all of us about why we exist in this society, and really figuring out some of those things centered around health disparities, you know, all those things. This was really, really fascinating and cool. So I wanted to really congratulate the faculty on their hard work and efforts in this space, and also the co-sponsorship of the North Carolina Collaboratory, who provided the funding, the seed money for our faculty to receive this funding. So thank them as well. So now we'll move to budget and finance. So I have the distinct pleasure, and I don't know if Chancellor wanted to say a few words, but I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our new Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Lillian Wanjaji. I think this is the first time you all have seen her, so, well, some of you. But we're so fortunate to have her join our Fayetteville State family, and really excited to have her as a colleague. So here's your clicker. Take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Provost, Chancellor, and to all of you for being here. It's a great, great pleasure to be here as part of the Bronco family. So I have been here about 2.5 months, and I look forward to working with all of you. And in my 2.5 months here, I've learned what a great place this is, primarily because of the people that are here. So I am just delighted to be here. I'm also not missing the Wisconsin winter, so the weather here is much nicer. So it is a great pleasure to be here. So I do have some updates for you, and I would like to begin those updates actually by just sharing about our team. There's been some movement a little bit in the business and finance, and we are a service organization, so I want you to get to know us. I want you guys to get to know me. You do know the leadership team in business and finance, but they may be serving in a different capacity than what you have been used to. So I did want to share that information with you. So I'm not sure if they're here. I do see Sandra. So we do have Sandra Williams, who is the new AVC for budget. So Sandra is right here in front, if you don't mind standing. So that is a promotion for Sandra for her excellent work that she has done and came from the provost office. And we are just delighted at the new leadership role that she is taking on to serve and to support all of you. Next, Jennifer Addison is in the AVC role for finance, and I see her at the back. So congratulations are also in order for her new leadership role and all that she has done and continues to do to make sure that we are doing what we are supposed to. So thank you, Jennifer. In facilities, we have John Persons. I'm not sure if he's in the room. So he's right at the top. There we go. We have John and his leadership to thank for all the excellent ways that our facilities are in shape and in order, and all the construction you're about to see. Don't send him any emails if you don't have any parking. Just thank him that we're going to have new construction and new facilities. But his leadership is really integral at this really critical time for us at our institution. And then last but not least, Gretchen Cobb. So this may be a new time. At the top? Oh, there we go. So she's a little bit new to the institution, but we're also very glad that she is here. She's over the auxiliary enterprise. So that's the leadership team in business and finance. And what I do want you guys to know about our team is that we are a service organization. We are here to serve you all as we serve our students. So my door is open, my email is open. So please share with me ways that we could support you and continue to help you as we further the mission of FSU. I'm going to share some quick overview on our budget. I'm going to talk a little bit about our funding model, just to share some of the things that are coming up from a business and finance lens. So this financial information is based on November. So we're still closing the month end for December. So that's at 41% of our fiscal year. So these are just high-level overviews. I'm sure this presentation will be available, so I won't read every single line item, but it is just for you guys to have a sense of where we are from a budget perspective. So.
She bring the charts out here. Let me see. Can y'all see that? I want to make sure y'all can see all that there.
I don't think I would be a legitimate CFO if I don't have Excel charts, right? So, all right. So this is just to let you know and have an idea, sources of our budget, right? So state operating budget, so we've spent about 25% of that. I won't read all of it, but our auxiliary services, so these are services that generate their own revenue, whether that's dining and so forth. Contracts and grants, and then capital improvement projects. I'm going to give you some updates on what's happening in that arena because we have quite a good amount of activity. This also lets you know our tuition. All right, much better. So this tells you a little bit about our tuition report and where our funds are. And so our state appropriation is 82%, particularly with the tuition promise. Our regular fall and spring, so we are still early in the spring semester, so that will catch up to a higher percentage. And then summer school, of course, and then other revenues. That's our expenditure report. So as you can see, most of our expenses are related to personnel. That's our most important asset. Without our people, we couldn't accomplish mission. So that's just letting you know that's where a majority of where our budget is spent. This lets you know a little bit about our auxiliary services, so housing and dining, athletics, and the bookstore, and other things that we need to support students and to support the educational mission. This is just an overview of all the contracts and grants. Sometimes people are curious about what those are. So this just tells you what those amounts are. So HERF was a very significant resource for us in the last 2 years. I'll talk a little bit about this in just a minute. So you can see that was the top grant for us. We have other grant funds as well. So those are just listed for you as an information item. I did want to share a little bit about our capital projects. We have a lot of construction going on. Hopefully you've seen some of it, or if you haven't seen it, you're feeling the impact of renewed spaces. But this is really exciting. The state has really committed to our institution with the new buildings that are in process of being constructed, and then of course regular ongoing renovations and maintenance. So the health and wellness, which was funded by the legislature this past session, it's projected to open in fall of 2025. So efforts are still ongoing on that. You will soon see the demolition of Bryant and Vance Hall. So you will soon see some activity there that may affect some parking, but it is all good to prepare that site for the new building. So the new residence hall at about 368 beds. So work is progressing on that. It is on track to open in fall of 2024. the new College of Education building. So this is another great investment from the state, estimated to open in 2026, and design and programming is still in progress for that. Cheek Rosenthal building renovation, another significant investment in renewal of that facility. So we are on track for 2025 for Chick and fall 2025 for Rosenthal. A new parking deck is also on the schedule. So designer solicitation is underway for that, and hopefully targeted completion is 2025 for that parking lot. We have some utility infrastructure going on. Designer selection for that will be next month. And then targeted start of that construction will be in 2024. Butler renovation, also on queue with designer selection in about 2 months. Lions Science renovation, most of that is complete with the final work occurring this summer. We have some repair and renovation projects, so sidewalk repairs, lighting improvements, and those kinds of things. So John and his team have been very, very busy. So when you see them, tell them thank you for all the work they do to keep our campus functioning and looking good. We do have a couple of HERF funded projects. So some projects in Harris, Joyner, and residence halls that are already complete. And then an HVAC project that will be complete early this fall. So working on that. The most important thing I did want to share with you all today, this is new information, and some of you may know this information, is the state has implemented a new funding model. So in previous years, our funding was based on enrollment. So lots of discussion always, are we growing our enrollment? And institutions received extra funding for extra enrollment. The state is moving away from that to focus on their goal of graduating students on time, and also to look at the very hotly debated topic of making sure that students graduate with less debt. So in thinking about that as a goal for the North Carolina system, they changed the funding model to be able to incorporate those goals. So now the state doesn't fund on enrollment anymore. They are funding based on completion. And this is a really important factor that all of us as a campus need to be thinking about. So I'm gonna just review the highlights of this formula so that we are all aware of it. So the system will be using 5 metrics to come up with a formula as to how those funds get allocated to all the institutions, of course, not just us. And they are weighted based on completed semester credit hours. So students completing their courses is really, really critical. It's not enough just for a student to enroll in a class. They must complete the classes for us to be able to get funding for that. The funding cycle will be in 3-year cycles, and this is to just help address some of the volatility so that it doesn't change really drastically from year to year. So a base period is established, and that base is in play for 3 years. So that's really important, because if we have it helps if you have a maybe not so great of a year, but if you also have an extraordinary year, maybe that's a minus, but it goes in 3-year cycles. So you have a base, and that base is applied for 3 years. Each institution actually has personalized stretch goals. So the system has set goals for each campus based on your profile and your students. But those are the metrics that you see on the screen that are in the formula that the state is using to calculate this funding. So they're looking at student success. So the 4-year graduation rate is a part of that. And then undergraduate degree efficiency. That's time to degree. So how long it takes our students to complete their degree programs. And then the second criteria is increasing affordability. So making sure that our first-time students, that they have a low debt ratio when they graduate, as well as transfer students. So those are 2 different measures. And then thirdly, university productivity. So this is really an area that all of us can contribute towards. So this has to do with keeping the educational expenses per degree low. So we all have a part to play in that, in being efficient and in being effective in what we do. And a 4th area, so increasing access, the reason this is in a different color is this hasn't been implemented yet. So for this year that's coming up, the system will only utilize those 3 goals, and in year 3 they will roll out the 4th access goal. Institutions were allowed to pick a metric, FSU selected military-affiliated enrollment. So this metric has to do with increasing enrollment related to military-affiliated students. So each of those measures are weighted, so I won't maybe go into the formulas, but just it's on your screen for you to have a sense of what that weight is. So the reason for sharing this information is I want us all to really think about our funding now depends on the ability for our students to be successful and to persist through the semester. Chancellor, Provost talked about that. So this becomes really important, even from a budget, perspective. So this just explains how the weighting is applied. So the formula applies a maximum of 3% to this performance funding. So the most that you can get is 3% of what your semester credit hours were, and the greatest reduction that you could get is 3%. So they do cap what that number is. For us this year, so this will be the first year, of course, that this is being implemented. The information on the screen represents what our funding is based on our census information for fall. And with that information, we will actually have a reduction in funding for us of $1.7 million. I'm sharing that with you all so that you understand why it is so critical for all of us to be very hyper-focused on completion. Part of that reason for us has to do with some decreased enrollment, semester credit hours. So I think probably everybody knows that you can have increased FTE, but if you have a lot of part-time students, it may not necessarily mean to a matching increase in semester credit hours. So some of those are some of the COVID impacts from nursing and so forth. So that reduction in semester credit hours, if you just take the fall semester, our regular funding for this year will result in a $1.725 million decrease. So this is really important for all of us to be aware how critical it is to help our students persist and to also enroll students and to help them through that funnel like Provost talked about. This is a draft so that we can understand the impact of that formula based on the fall census. The funding will be based on fall, summer, spring. So Provost reported a great report on where we are in the spring. So we hope to continue in that forward movement and then a concerted effort to make sure that we continue in that path for our institution. So key takeaways from these updates, we have a lot of construction going on, so be patient with us. You'll see lots of maybe closures, maybe some rerouting as we begin particularly the new residence hall, so that's an important takeaway. Her funding, so you saw that was the largest amount of grants that we have from a revenue source. That will be coming to an end soon, so there'll be some impacts. I think most of you know that we were able to pay some of the students' balances off. Once those funds are exhausted, those opportunities are not there. So for us to just have an awareness and an understanding of that impact. And then the most significant takeaway I want you all to take away with you is the impact of this performance funding. So for us to think about how we get the resources to do our job, getting students to complete their courses and to help them persist through graduation is really, really important. So, and it's not just faculty's role, it's not just academic affairs, it's not just the retention office, it is all our role to help our students persist through that. So I did want to put this reflection, and I may not sound like a CFO as I talk about this reflection, but I do want us to really think about each day, knowing how critical the student persistence and success is. All of us in our roles, I would like for us to ask ourselves any of these questions. What is your contribution to student success? And this applies to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're in the classroom helping students, making sure that they get those passing grades, even in the business office, helping students figure out how they're going to pay their bills. You could be a groundskeeper, just smiling at a student and making them feel like this is home and they belong. All of us have things that we could do to help our students be able to persist, stay in school, complete their courses, and do well, regardless of the role that we have at this institution. So I just wanted all of us to maybe make that as a takeaway. What what is something that you will do each day to make it easier for a student, to stay here? So that speaks to the customer service initiative that is rolling out, right? So when we see our students, maybe they just need somebody to say hello, maybe they've had a tough day, maybe they didn't do well in a final. So all of us have a really important role to play to help our students stay focused and to persist through their classes and to be able to ultimately graduate. And then we'll have the needed resources for us to be able to serve them. With that, I do have to leave, but I'm going to take a question or two if there are any questions, because I will not be able to stay for the remainder of the meeting. So if there's any pressing questions, I would take one. If you think of something after the fact, please email me, email Provost, and I will be very happy to answer those questions. So any pressing questions?
We can follow up on questions here. I need to leave here in less than 5 minutes, but I want to really put a punctuation on this point. Provost, you stand with me here. So this is one of those leaning in moments, team. And there's a reason why administration, staff, and academia are all in the room as we talk about budget and finance. So let me just break it down basically. Vice Chancellor Wanjagi, what is our number one revenue stream to funding Fayetteville State University operations?
State appropriations.
Based on what?
Based on completed hours.
Used to be on enrollment. So let me want to break that down now. Our pay, our compensation, raises, bonuses, is really primarily the main revenue prior to this year was how many students we had on a campus. Now, March 15, 2021, when I got here, this is what I knew. I knew that Fayetteville State University, as it relates to all 16 institutions, we were last in retention, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and we were last in graduation rates. It did not impact us financially because we had a model that by and large funded the number of students you had on the campus. But I knew this time was coming in 2021. That's why, team, we quickly, Provost Leach's efforts and leadership team, we quickly directed millions of dollars in the renovation of our library, Bronco One Stop. That's why we quickly implemented and funded and will continue to fund free summer school for students where they can get up to 7 credits if they work with us to make sure that they're trying to stretch to 15 credit hours per semester. And this is why we invested multi-million dollars into EAB, right? That data point faculty that you see in something here, you communicate that so that Dr. Teresa Thompson-Pinkner, her team, and others can work in such a strategic way. Because this time was coming. Because where Fayetteville State University hadn't done well, again, we were last in retention, in graduation rates, but we knew that this performance model was shifting. Now, I'm an old country boy, so you got to break it down clean to me. So this is what we're saying now. Yeah, we want to make sure that we continue to be an institution that's accessible. We want to have as many of our brightest students who are desiring to go to that next level as much as we can house them. We want to do that. But that's no longer the pay rate. It is completed semester hours. So though we sung praises about good enrollment this past cycle, and that we had, that's the old way. We got dinged $1.7 million because despite that we had despite the fact that we had a significant number of students that came, we had a significant decrease in students that actually completed the credit hours. We cannot be an institution. I know we see construction coming, things of that nature. We have those dollars. We cannot be an institution that can continually take hits of $1 million, 1.7, $1.8 million. And I don't want to be morbid here, but the room will have to shrink if we flow in that level. It's just a matter of dollars and cents. So I don't care if it's facilities. Let's make sure that we double down. Hey, if you see a student they converse with you, because some of you all have better relationships with students than a faculty. I'm serious about that. Like, it's all hands on deck. You reach out, you get to Bronco One Stop, you let us know who they are. Because we're not only talking about academics, you all know we got the dreaded COVID. Mental health, it's a challenge. Heck, we all are struggling with it. You know how much more our students. So this is one of those leaning in moments. Is A.D. Bennett here? Give me A.D. Bennett. So I don't want to leave it here, but we need to lean in. I don't want to leave it here. A.D. Bennett's not here? Okay. Dog it. Where's Mr. King? Well, I want to tell some good news here, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it.
There's King.
Hey, you'll hear more about the dynamic work that's happening with our student athletes. All that being said, with our investments in Bronco One Stop, with our summer school and EAB, things of that nature, we are reversing the trend. We ain't going to be last in the UNC system in retention and graduation rate. And the reason we're not is because all of us are going to be intentional. No more of these silos. Oh, that's academic. Oh, that's staff. Oh, that's... No, it's all of us. As they succeed, we succeed. Now, the other point that Dr. Wanjagi shared with you, listen, as we succeed, oh, guess what? So it's not only performance-based, but there is incentive-based. We actually can get more money. We actually can get more money. We experience a decrease, but we actually can get more money as we hit our targets and exceed our targets. I know we can do it. We're going to do it. And we're going to do it by doing it together. Now listen, I'm going to do this as I walk out. But Dwayne and Dr. Carter are not the only one that can stroll and walk the catwalk. Let's go here. Listen, let's pause here. Just turn around here. You ain't the only ones that can do it, Dwayne and Dr. Shahar. There we go here. There we go here. There we go here. I got to run because y'all need me to go to this meeting here, but together we will do this. All of us. And there's no me, big I, little you. All of us. We're going to make sure that Fayetteville State University is bright today, bright tomorrow, and bright forever. Thank you. No, we're good. Thank you.
It's a great, let me get this mic. I think that's a great segue to our next presenter, who will be talking with you all about our enrollment projections and our plans for our strategic enrollment plan for the next 5 years. So Dr. Pam Baldwin, our interim Associate Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management, will come before you and give you that update. Dr. Baldwin?
Thank you. So I think I've been set up a little bit, but that's okay. It's exciting. I want to first say that how wonderful it is to have a CFO that ends her presentation talking about student success. And if every time we have a meeting, every time we gather, every time we have any conversation, if we could make sure that student success is at the center of that conversation, in every decision, in every thought, in every process, in every hire, if we do that, we will do exactly what the chancellor just described. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this team, and I'm really excited to have people on our team that understand that student success is why we are here. We can bring them in, but we got to get them across that stage with a meaningful piece of paper. And so that's something that's really important to all of us, and it's going to take all of us to make that happen. Again, it's a pleasure to be here and to share with you our strategic enrollment management plan process. Hopefully this is not the first time you've heard about it. We've had several kickoffs, not only with the Chancellor's Cabinet, with the Provost's leadership team, but also with our deans. And I'm hoping that you have heard that this is a process that is going to be collaborative. We started back in October, and we continue to share the message that not only do we want to recruit our students in a way that is meaningful and strategic, but we also want to retain our students and have them graduate in 4 years or less. And so that's the goal of our plan, and I'm going to walk you through just a bit what that looks like in our process. We have an organizational framework that includes everyone: faculty, staff, students, alumni. All of our stakeholders are involved in this process. Why is that? Because it means everything to the university to have everyone understand why we need a strategic enrollment plan and how important it is that each variable in that plan is aligned with the needs of our students. I want to thank Dr. Allison Van Nuys and Mrs. Sarah Baker. They are leading two of our large committees on student success and recruitment. And that team is currently working through a process of identifying goals, metrics, and strategies to address the needs of Fayetteville State University. This is some of the work that we've been going through since October, but this work, of course, did not just start in October. We formalized this process with our leadership in that month, and we'll work through February to have a draft plan for the university to review. Again, we're developing goals and strategies and want to make sure that we share the recommendations from all the subcommittees I mentioned earlier, which includes, again, our alumni, our students, our faculty, our staff, so that we can make sure that we cover our bases. I know, and I know our provost knows, and our chancellor knows, that the people who know our students best are not those who are not in the classrooms. We get that. And so we want to make sure that we have your voice in this plan and that this is a living document that we can go back and revise and address any holes or gaps as we move through the process. So you heard from Dr. Wanjagi that enrollment is important, but retention is where we need to focus, our student success. We do have numbers, metrics that we are working through for this 5-year plan, and in 5 years, our goal is to have 8,000 students on our campus. Now, remember, we have all these special populations: adult learners, military population, traditional residential students, first-time freshmen, transfer students. And so we need to, in our plan and in our work, be very strategic in how we recruit, retain, and most importantly, support those populations of students for their needs. And for many of them, the needs are different. To include mental health, to include housing, to include financial aid. Those types of supports need to be a part of this plan. And in just a moment, Dr. Lucas is going to come up and talk about our strategic refresh. All of these plans need to be aligned with our master plan for the campus that Mr. Parsons is working through. And so again, it's timely, it's important. We are all in this together. I happen to be up here presenting this plan, but this happens to be the plan of Fayetteville State University and every single person, including our students, as we move through and make sure that our goals and strategies support their efforts. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Baldwin. Very informative. Wanted to make sure everyone is understanding that we're all in this together. I think this is very timely for our entire campus to understand the significance of all of these different plans. So next up we have Dr. Nicole Lucas, who will, the Associate Vice Chancellor for IERP, who will discuss with you the strategic plan refresh for the university. And just keep in mind, you know, you're right here with us, that all of these things are integrated together in order for this framework of student success for Fayetteville State University is moving along the continuum. So Dr. Lucas, please come forward. Give her a round of applause. Here's your clicker. And you want to hold the mic so to you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. You know, I don't know how many times when I should stop saying Happy New Year. So this will be the last day that I say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. But 2023 was an important year for me to count down, because all of the previous years with SACS, every time I counted down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I was counting down closer to the time that we had our SACS review. So this year I was like, okay, I'm gonna count down and then there won't be any SACS after 2023. And so that was exciting for me, because when I thought I was gonna party. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna party and have fun, and I didn't. I was in sweats and I counted down, and it was great. I was grateful for 2023. But now, as you've heard, we're now turning the page, and we're turning the page to address our strategic plan and to do a very important and timely strategic plan refresh for 2022-2027. And this is the perfect time, because we now have new campus initiatives, we have new strategic metrics for FSU. There's the system office has revamped their strategic plan. As you've heard, we have a new funding model. And then we're also working in a post-pandemic work/educational space. So we have to encompass all of this into our new strategic plan in order to better align, in order to create an environment where our students will be successful. And I want to say thank you to faculty and staff for participating and sharing your input with regards to the 5 priorities. And we'll make sure to include and align many of the comments that were shared in our metrics. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and talk about important aspects of our strategic plan refresh. So first, I want to start off with our mission statement. I'm not going to read the mission statement today, but we're all familiar with it. And the mission statement was approved by the Board of Governors last fall, and it details who we are, who our students are, and how we plan to prepare our students for 21st century careers and also their future lives. So just really proud of this mission statement, and everything in the strategic plan refresh was built with the foundation of this of our mission statement. So priority 1 is to support the academic excellence and student success of our students. And this details how we're going to offer high quality, affordable programs and equipped FSU's diverse student population with necessary knowledge and skills to compete on a global level. And for this priority, there are 6 goals. And the goals detail how we're going to implement ambitious strategies to attract and grow targeted populations of students. And as you have heard, increase our retention rates, increase our 4-year graduation rates and our graduate efficiency rates. So we're no longer operating on the model where we look at our 5- and 6-year graduation rates. Those aren't important. They're important to us to keep track of, but in terms of funding and student success and keeping the cost low for our students, we're more interested in increasing our four-year graduation rates. Also integrating cutting-edge technology and innovation into our classroom environment, strengthening the capacity to offer high-ranking educational programs, and also expanding and increasing student faculty collaborative research, scholarship, and creative activities. For priority 2, the focus here is on enhancing student engagement and career development, where we want to integrate robust co-curricular student learning experiences that will prepare students for 21st century careers. And here we talk about infusing high-impact practices and professional skills into curricular and co-curricular activities, increasing student access to impactful career trajectories, developing innovative cultural and global learning opportunities, creating campus-wide spaces that our students could collaborate with one another, and develop and expand a health and wellness center that focuses on mental health and wellness. And I will say that when I met with students, they were extremely excited about this priority because they saw a lot of what they wanted and needed on a campus exemplified in these goals. And the last one is to enhance the educational experiences and support for our military-connected students, adult learners, and transfer students. We want all of our students to benefit from the high-impact educational experiences on this campus, to include our military, adult learners, and transfer students. Priority 3 focuses on campus community vitality. This really is important. You know, when you walk on a campus, when you're a part of a campus, you notice immediately if there's life, vitality, if people like coming to work, like who they work with, and enjoy the environment. And so this priority is meant to help us to better be able to track how we're doing with increasing campus community vitality. And in this, there are multiple goals. One is to recruit and retain world-class faculty and workforce, implement a customer care strategy that promotes the highest standards of service, provide a broad range of leadership training and professional development initiatives, and also to develop opportunities and resources that facilitate work-life balance that support the business needs of the university. So very excited about priority 3. Priority 4, here the shift is to creating and enhancing strategic collaborations with local, regional, national partners that expand the university's footprint and increase our impact in the communities in which we live and serve. And for this priority, we're talking about investing in training and certification programs and centers that helps us meet the needs of the community, increasing opportunities for the university community through strong partnerships with military and industry leaders, and promoting and sustaining community engagement initiatives and projects that have a positive impact on the economic development of the region. And finally, to create opportunities to conduct research with industry and national and international partners. So this priority will definitely help us to increase our footprint, both locally in the community and nationally and internationally. And that last priority also helps us to create a pipeline for our students who also want to get involved in industry, as a career path. Priority 5, the final priority, is university sustainability and advancement. And here it's looking at investing in the future of the university with a focus on advanced technology and resources, raising support and awareness for the changing needs of the university, and support and implementation of the university's master plan. Here we're talking about and focusing on aligning investments to deliver state-of-the-art technology, building and upgrading our physical infrastructure, maintaining and implementing a campus master plan, and finally diversifying fundraising and engagement efforts to maximize investment opportunities to support the university. So these are our priorities and our goals that best exemplify the priorities for the 2022-2027 strategic plan refresh. One thing that I'm clear about is that the execution of this 5-year plan will take all of us. Absolutely all of us. And IERP is dedicated to making sure that we see our progress. So having impactful reports so that everyone here can see the hard work, how well we're doing on our priorities and goals and metrics so that we can continue to improve. So I appreciate it. If you have any questions and or comments, feel free to email me. Thank you so much.
Lots of great information, all interconnected in who we are as an institution. And building on the momentum that we have and talking about priority 3 specifically in our strategic plan, I'll have Dr. Karen Bussey, our Deputy Chief of Staff, and our ABC for Human Resources, Mr. Carl Dean, to come up for the next segment to talk about employee engagement. Give him a round of applause. Where's Mr. Dean? Oh, here he comes. Come on down. Thank you all.
Thank you, Provost. Yep. I was just gonna say, if everybody wants to stretch while we get it together and wait for Mr. Dean to come up. I know it's been an early morning.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. I know y'all thought I was going to say whoop, whoop, whoop. But good morning. I have the awesome task to talk about the survey that was conducted on spring 22. What I want to say about the survey, hold on, let me do the clicker. Thank you. 38% of faculty and staff responded. Let me be very clear. That was a low turnout. What I want to say about that, in order for us to deal with the problems, we need to know what the situation is. And the only way we know that is through you all. So I encourage you, next time we do the survey, please share with us. We want to hear from you. We want to be engaged. Well, we can't engage you if you're not engaged with us. Fair enough? Okay, let's move on. The survey focused on 4 things. We talked about confidence in leadership, job satisfaction, faculty and staff well-being, and communication and collaboration. Let's break it down a little bit. 89% of faculty and staff responded indicating their work to be meaningful. Job fit, autonomy, meaningful work. What employees said was that, hey, I felt valued. I had autonomy. I felt meaningful in my job. Connection to the mission and sense of pride. What you shared in the study that you said that, hey, I felt connected to FSU. I felt empowered with the mission. And I had a sense of pride of being a part of the Bronco family. And that's important, being a part of the Bronco family, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Faculty and staff felt well-being, that your manager, your department chair cared about you, valued you. Supervisors and department chairs' effectiveness. You were made aware of the mission and goal by your chair and your supervisor. They gave you the expectation of your jobs. Lastly, diversity and inclusion and belonging. There was diversity. You felt belonging a part of this family. Now, this is great areas that we were successful in, but there are areas that we needed to look at more opportunities in. 34% of the respondents believe that we were all on the same team at this institution. And there's some areas that we need to grow in. Work group communication and collaboration. We need to work more on collaborating with our faculty and staff. We recognize that. Performance management and accountability. We need to work more in our performance, making sure promotions are based on performance and values. And HR will be working in that area more. Sense of confidence in leadership. There needs to be more confidence in your senior leadership, and we are going to work in that area with you. Shared governance, making sure that you understand the policy and the governance that governs FSU. So let's look at the next steps, how we're going to do that. We're going to engage faculty and staff in a dialogue to learn more about the survey results and opportunities for improvement. Along with Dr. Bussey, we're going to look at possibly doing a town hall meeting like this to have more dialogue. I think the more dialogue we have, the better makes us a better family. We're also using the findings to guide the university's strategic initiative, particularly in the area of community vitality. And this is our strategic priority number 3. Routinely assessing the employment engagement process. We're going to continue to delve into the survey. We want to do a better opportunity to be great. As we talked about the students, our central, but also you're the people. HR is human people. We've got to make sure we do a better job in working with our staff and faculty. So look forward to some dialogues coming up and participate. Whoop, whoop, whoop! Now we'll have Dr. Bussey.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Welcome back, everyone. Happy 2023. Who all is excited? It's 2023, new year. Hopefully much more success. And I know what I didn't know. I need to add Mr. Dean to all my presentations now because he gets our whoop-whoops together. So I'm happy he went first to bring some of that energy back because this is an exciting initiative that I'm going to share with you all. It's our customer care initiative. Now, I'll be honest that I know many of you know about customer care. This is not new to the university. It's a new initiative, but many of you across your departments have already started implementing some customer care things. But this is really a chance for us to come together as a full university to find some ways that we can implement things for everyone to participate in, as well as understanding what are some of the needs around customer care. Not only as we think about our students and external partners, but also how we think about customer care with each other. How do we engage with our colleagues across the university? I'm very excited as we think about this expansion. And one thing that I'll know that every presentation has talked about collaboration. Well, this is also a collaborative initiative. We really want everyone to be able to participate on it and give some input at some point in time. So I kind of want to walk you through a little bit about the philosophy. So I'm very philosophical sometimes. I get in my mode and I think, but I'm going to walk you through. I'm very intentional about words. So we're calling this customer care. Many of us have heard customer service, and we've heard customer experience. Is that right? Customer service, customer experience. Well, when we think about customer service, we're thinking about a service, an interaction, that one time you're working with a person. I'm not going to call them customers because we are people at this point in time, but people. When we think about an experience, which we know higher education has taken on very strongly, we think about multiple interactions. We think how we're building it together and we want them to come back and we want them to come back again and again because they really like coming to us or they really need us for some point in time to fulfill something. But let's shift to talk about care. Who wants to be cared for? We're thinking it's growing as we're thinking about it. Well, customer care is really us thinking about how we want them to feel for the rest of their lives. So they can always look back at FSU and say, hey, that was just a point in my life where I just felt so cared for. I really want the rest of my interactions in life to be just like that. And how we embody the way that we respect people, we engage with them, and we support them as well. So the purpose of our customer care initiative is to establish a pervasive culture of care. This is a remarkable time for innovation and growth. We've heard all of the statistics around our enrollment growth. We have great ways that our external partners are engaging us through our Bronco Midtown Center, as well as other opportunities with our military affiliation. But how do we think about how we actually make room for this growth in the way that we interact with others? So first, we want to create some campus standards that really think about the best way that we can create this environment. And with that, we want to see in return promoting a positive image of FSU to others. So everybody, really quickly, think about the best experience that you've had somewhere. I'll give you about 10 seconds while I flip my paper. All right, hopefully everybody thought at least one good experience sometime in their life. Hold on to that experience and always think of it as you're interacting with others. And I'll be honest, mine is when I go to Chick-fil-A, I love hearing the My Pleasure when I ask for extra sauce, because we know we don't get extra sauce everywhere we go. Thank you, Provost. My pleasure. So over the next year, the university will focus on 3 objectives. So for this first one, it is going to be important that the university has a tangible framework for improving customer care across FSU. Creating this university framework, it aligns directly with our university strategic plan. So Dr. Nicole Lucas talked just a few seconds ago about our strategic priority 3, community and campus and community vitality. We really want to embody that as we're moving forward. We want to reach that goal. This plan would include some standards that creates uniformity of the expectations on how to show good customer care. It could be as simple as how we answer the phone, to how we engage and make ourselves accessible to other folks, whether it's opening our doors, we know where we are, we have office hours as we're working with students, but we'll come up with a way that we can all agree upon and have some expectations that you should interact across the university. These standards will not just be formed by myself, the Chancellor's Office, our cabinet members. Again, this is collaborative, and we'll have some planning group meetings that we want you all to participate on. And I'll share in just a few seconds on how you can show your interest in participating on a small group planning committee. But again, we want to think about how we can really move us forward in this area. So on to our second. As we grow, we know there comes capacity constraints. There's some times that we need to really think about our systems, our processes, our resources. So this second objective really focuses on that. How do we think about our high call volumes? I know our Bronco Contact Center is like, yes, we're getting lots of high call volumes. We need some help. I know that our faculty are thinking about our in-classroom experiences and really being able to have the resources to engage with larger classrooms or more opportunities for advising. And then our staff are also thinking about some of those capacity constraints as we're doing our day-to-day job. So as we're thinking about this, we want to know what would be helpful to do our jobs better and to do it with more care, and how we can start implementing that. I say this is a 1 year. This is not, we're going to do it for 1 year and then it's done with. But we will work very strongly and very quickly over the next year, and then we'll reassess for what it looks like for future sustainability. But third, we want to focus on boosting our morale around campus. We know that we can't give good customer service and good experiences and good care if we ourselves are not exactly the most happiest. So that really ties into what Mr. Carl Dean just shared with some of our findings. We have some opportunities that we want to continue to unfold and unpack those findings, and we'll be reaching out very soon, and I'll share more about some opportunities in just a second for that to happen. But we want to hear from you on this. These are your survey results. These are what your thoughts, opinions, and feedback are saying to us. So it's not just about a piece of paper, but it's about dialogue where we can talk to each other and say it verbally. And we will build in those venues for that to happen over this semester and then moving forward in the future. So, engagement. How can you take a part in this initiative? There's an interest form. It's by link. It's by QR code. That's probably as tech savvy as I can get. Dr. Melina, help me out moving forward. But if you can use our QR code, we know that you might not have time to finish it today. The survey is very brief, about 5 questions. But I will also make sure this gets sent out so that you have this information as well. You can also always email me at any time or call me, come visit me. I have an open door policy as well, as many of us have mentioned. But this interest form is going to be key. Some things that we'll be doing, again, are some town halls. I like to call them think tanks. I want us to think, I want us to engage, I want us to talk, not just have a whole town hall where we're talking about the results. But we do want to dive deeper in those results, so we'll give a full layout of everything that we learn, and then again have that moderated discussion. We'll be joined by Chancellor, Provost, as well as our cabinet members so that they can also hear and share how they're fitting in some of their work into this, and ways that you can also give feedback on how we're adding it into some of the work that we're doing. But we'll have a series of those, and you should look for an email with that invitation in the coming weeks for that to happen. We want to have it sooner rather than later. But what do you all want? That's a question that I have in my mind of, I don't want to plan something that nobody wants to go to. We've all been to that one party where you kind of go on because it's your friend, but you're like, I didn't really want to go skating or bowling on this Friday. I could have done something else or gave a better idea. So this interest form will give you a chance to also share how you would like to see things happen in the customer care initiative. And these, again, are going to be times for us to come together as a university. And the last piece I'll mention are those small group planning committees. Again, if you are very interested in wanting to shape some of our standards, our expectations, some of the trainings, things that we'll be putting into motion for you all, there's an opportunity for that. And if you email me or fill out the interest form, I can make sure to share those meeting dates for you, and then you'll be able to participate in those, and those will be rolling out pretty frequently as well as pretty soon. So just let me know. But I'll always keep this up, so at any point in time, whether it's now, later, or towards the summer, I'll just keep checking it. You can fill it out as many times as you want. I sometimes get my best views when I'm cooking, and I might want to stop and just fill it out. I know you all will not want to do that because you're at home not thinking about this, but I am serious that you can fill it out as many times, and I will continue looking at it and follow up with you on that. So with that, again, I want to thank you for listening to the presentation, to thinking about customer care, and encourage you all to contact me if you have any thoughts or ideas.
Thank you, Dr. Bussey and Mr. Dean. That was very important and useful information. We have some faculty senate business to take care of, but prior to that, we have. I wanted to acknowledge, at the beginning of my remarks, we celebrated our SAC-COC accomplishments. And so at the end of my remarks, I wanted to celebrate our CIAA football championship as well as our track and field championship. So let's give our athletics teams and coaches another round of applause. Yeah, we did that. So very excited about what our student athletes are doing on the court and off the court, and also on the field and on the court as well, but also recognizing that the overall GPA for our student athletes the fall was over a 3.0 GPA, and that is to be recognized as well. So thank them for all of the work that they're continuing to do, because it's a big commitment. So now we have to handle some faculty business of the Faculty Senate. The faculty were sent information about the autonomous committee, and so I'll dismiss everyone in a moment if you're not faculty, but on behalf of Chancellor Allison and the entire team, I want to thank you all so much for being here and engaged and ready to roll up your sleeves for the spring semester. It's going to be a great ride to finish out the academic year, and of course the best day of the year is always commencement, but I am so looking forward to re-engaging with you all as we continue to do the work for our students and on behalf of Fayetteville State University. So again, thank you. I will ask the Faculty Senate Chair to come up as the staff exit the building. But have a wonderful year, and Happy New Year again. Thank you so much. Faculty, please remain.
So what do you want me to do?
Let me tell you. Essentially, we have to re-elect everybody. Okay? These are the people who volunteered. I have half the committee from here already from volunteers. I would like to ask if those who have already volunteered, you could go with them. Yeah, I know. There's it doesn't matter. I just Hi again. Okay. So thank you again for sticking around for this vote. So hopefully you all saw an email that came from the provost's office. It came from Ms. Coleman earlier this week describing autonomous committees for the university that we need to select faculty to be members of. So there's 16 different positions that need to be filled. So my hope when we sent the email on Monday was that I would get volunteers for some of those positions to speed along this voting process, because it does have to be, you have to be elected by all of your faculty. So I do have 8 of the 16 folks who have volunteered. Now, to make this efficient, I'm going to read the names of those who have volunteered, and then I will ask us to vote by acclamation, unless you object to one of the names that I've called of your colleagues, okay? We're going to start, and I don't have the names up here because I have a spreadsheet here, and I couldn't get it in time for it to be up here, but the grievance committee. And again, that email from Ms. Coleman describes what the function of each committee is, and I don't want to get into those details here. These committees meet as needed when there is an issue, so they have not met for the past several years, which is why we need to elect basically every position on both committees, okay? So we'll start with the grievance committees. I have volunteers from the College of Education, Dr. Kanuka. I have from College of CHSS, I have Dr. Cato. And then I have Maria Orban for one of the at-large positions. And then CHST has already allowed me to do this vote in their college. So we don't need any volunteers for that specific position. And they've already been voted on, so I'm not going to put them here in this vote. So please raise your hand if you're in favor of those 3 names that I've already listed to be elected into the grievance committee. If you do have any objections, feel free to raise them as well. We are going to need more people to fill the college. We need a representative from the business college. We need a representative, at-large representative, someone who's a full professor from any college, and then another at-large representative who's an associate professor from any college, and then an alternate from any college. So let's start with those 3 names that I put forward. Are there any objections? How do we just move? Thank you. Go ahead. Oh, here.
Oh, I was about to say, y'all know I don't really need a mic. So we need a motion to accept Dr. Kanuka, Dr. Cadle, and Dr. Orban for the grievance committee. Is there a motion? All right, is there a second? We're gonna do a voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstentions? It carries.
Okay. I'm going to jump over to those who have volunteered for hearing and reconsideration. I also have 3 names. We have a representative, a volunteer from the College of Education, Dr. Wilson Jones. We have a CHSS representative, Dr. Almeida, and then we have an at-large full professor, Dr. Lori Guevara. Do I have a motion to? Thank you. Thank you.
All in favor?
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to jump back to the grievance committee. I need a representative from the Broadwell College of Business and Economics. And there's people watching online, so I don't know if there's a way to see if somebody volunteers in the chat. Anyone? And just so you're aware, we will need 2 representatives from business, 1 for the grievance committee and 1 for the hearing and reconsideration committee. If anybody can see in the chat, if there are any volunteers in the chat, please shout that out.
I have spoken up.
None as of yet.
I'm sorry?
None as of yet.
Okay, thank you. You have to be a full tenured faculty member. Does that apply? I'm sorry. You have to be a tenured faculty member. I'm sorry. All righty. We'll table that. So now we'll go back to just grievance committee. I need a volunteer, an at-large position, someone who is a full professor, and then an at-large who is an associate professor, and this can come from any college. Do I have any volunteers? Thank you. Thank you.
We haven't done the second part yet. Hold on.
We have 1 to serve on the grievance committee.
Excuse me, ma'am? Ma'am? Audio booth. There's about a 20-second delay between live and then, what's being broadcast. So we do have a volunteer. The name is
Heather.
Okay.
Griffiths.
All right,
Heather Griffith.
Volunteer to serve on the
Thank
grievance
you.
committee
Volunteer to serve on the grievance committee.
as the at-large associate professor.
At-large associate professor.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That leaves us with an alternate. This can come from any college. Again, you just have to be tenured faculty. What's your name? I can't see. Angela? Okay. Thank you. All right. So just so you know, those who are in the at-large positions or the alternate position, you are elected for 1 year. You are allowed to renew it next year when we do these votes. Everyone else will be on a 3-year term so that we're not re-electing 16 people at one time. The hearing.
We have another volunteer from our online community.
We have the chat up now. Thank you. Thank you so much. We can see him now.
Never mind.
You're welcome.
All right. So first, let's finish off the grievance committee. This is the last call for business. Anybody from business? Huh? Okay. All right. So let's vote on the 3 volunteers we received. Yeah. You have to be tenured for both committees. You volunteered for the College of Education? Oh, I had Dr. Kanuka in that spot. Thank you. All right, so the 3 nominations for the remaining positions are Jose Franco, Heather Griffith, and Angela Taylor. Do I have a motion to accept those names? Second? All in favor? Thank you so much. All opposed? Ooh, abstentions? All right, thank you. All right, so on to hearing and reconsiderations. Again, we need a business representative. We also need 2 at-large associate professor representatives and then an alternate. Okay. What was the first part? Okay. Thank you. Emily, you said alternate? Okay. That leaves 2 at-large professors at the associate. Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. We just voted on all the grievance ones, so there's 1 slot left in hearing and reconsideration because there's someone in the chat who has volunteered to be in the at-large position who's associate. Because you're full, correct? Oh, okay. So there's 1 spot left if you want to be at-large associate for hearing and reconsideration. Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right, now we have nominations except for business. We have everyone. Okay, so all motion to accept all the names that have been offered here. Do I have a motion? Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, all of those of you who have been elected, congratulations. I will send you an email just to reiterate your membership and then pass the information along to the university attorney because this faculty senate has nothing to do with these actual committees other than to facilitate this vote, okay? So any communication related to these should come from the attorney or some other administrator at the university, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, Kim, for help. Yeah. Well, technically, it started in fall. So there was no cases to be reviewed. So those of you who are in the 1-year positions, if you want to run again next fall, because ideally these should have been done in the spring. So we'll hold elections hopefully again in spring, if not in the fall, for those who need to be reelected as we move forward and keep better records of who's serving. Again, I don't think there's been a case in a few years, and then we had COVID, so there was no need for the committees to meet. So I appreciate you all, and I look forward to the 2 names from, or the 1 remaining name from business when we have that, okay? Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Who do we have for business? Huh? Who do we have for business? Oh, okay, okay. All right, guys, thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you all so much for indulging us in this very important work of the Faculty Senate and the faculty governance of the university. So this concludes our mid-year program. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in those classes with those young and older folks. Happy New Year.
you.